Our ancestors left their true identities right here before they left. Their culture and all the privileges they had here. So now that you are back home, was the largest of the dungeons for the women. And here you're talking of 100 to 150 women in this small space. On the floor, as hard as you see it, they were packed or were sleeping. They were given food and water once, twice in a day, a very little just to keep them alive. A month or two, they were held in here and never allowed out until the time the governor wanted to pick one to be raped. Over here also, they were not allowed to wash down. And women, some had to go through their menstrual periods and still be sleeping in it. So governors, soldiers, traders kept on abusing the women.
Well, as we stand here today, declaring that people of African descent are on the rise, we take our step to construct a brighter future. And I lay this wreath with reverence and with thank you to those of you who kept this Elmina history, a living history, so that we may all join with you in saying, never again. Never again.
We have a lasting memory of the anguish of our ancestors. It should compel us to pray for those who died to rest in peace, those who love to return, find their roots, and that man never again be given the chance to commit such crimes or perpetrate such injustice against man, and with the living ought to vow to uphold this.
Here, the mortal remains of Madame Crystal from Jamaica and Samuel Carson from the USA, both slaves, were reinterred in 1998.
History has it that because of the inhumane nature of slavery and the torture it came with, Madame Crystal then decided to embark on a hunger strike to starve herself to death because the torture was just unbearable. So this is Madame Crystal. Samuel Carson, on the other hand, is the first African American to rise to the position of the senior Navy officer. So when they got to Asemanso on the 31st of July 1998, we had a very, very big funeral for them, just to re-intern them here. Then on the 1st of August, we started observing the Emancipation Festival. That's how come 2019 is 21 years of emancipation and marking 400 years of African resilience.
Where I walked the devil in hell.
During the whole trance, we had different forms of capturing. Is that fine? And what the captives had to do to protect themselves and their families from the raiders is that they had to come up with innovative ideas to defend their family and themselves. So we had captives who lived on the river, like in Zulezu. We had captives who had to go live in the mountains and the caves. And when you get to the Upper East region and the Upper West region, you had captives who built a very strong defense to protect themselves, not to have an easy access for the capturers to enter their buildings. What other people also did is that they had to plant the mimosa plants at the edges of their houses or their buildings because of how sensitive the plant is. Yes, as at the touch of this plant, it closes up. And when it's free, it opens. So these were indications captives had to use. So when you wake up, it's been checked intermittently within a frame of 15 to 10 minutes. So when you wake up and you see it's closed, it means that your enemies are around. And when it's open, it means you are free to go out. So let's all take a critical look at it. Just at the touch of it, it's going to behave as if it's dead. So 1, 2, 3. Have you seen it? So we are going to take it again. Let's all pay attention. Let's all pay attention. At the count of 3, it's going to close. 1, 2, 3.
Go down, Moses.
We had a tree here known as a silk cotton tree. It's broken. You're not going to see it. And during the whole trance, we had a lot of ties being broken, a lot of families being separated from each other, and people who staged to avert the situation were killed and killed all over the place. If you were not killed, you were being punished. One feature of the silk cotton tree is that it has a very, very thorny part, which pricks. So you are being tied around it this way, and when you try to strangle, it pricks you. And you see a lot of blood oozing from your body. If you wanted to cry or shout for your life, they filled your mouth up with stones and being tied this way to make you keep mute, so nobody hears you. Ideally, what we do is here is that we take off our shoes and walk the exact path as our ancestors did.
Oh, freedom, freedom over me.
Found out there was a massive grave on the other side of my ancestors. Because of what happened here, I don't know where I come from. I don't know who my people are. I don't know what my language is.
Feet have not a weary.
It's just overwhelming.
The place.
Been here about 7 days. I just got to the last bath here. And I'm changed, man. You walk in the water, and as soon as I got here, my heart started hurting. My head started pounding. I felt something I never felt before. It's heavy. You have to experience it for what it is. You can't. Books don't do it justice.